Hey, everyone, before we start, don't forget to tap that subscribe button so you won't miss more touching stories like this one. For as long as I can remember, I believed my husband, Daniel, was unshakable, the kind of man whose calm could quiet any storm. He was never loud or attention-seeking, but there was something about his quiet confidence that made you feel safe. He was my anchor, steady, patient, dependable. For 10 years, I truly thought nothing could ever disturb what we had. Then came that Friday night. Just a small dinner gathering with a few close friends, warm lights, soft laughter, the kind of easy evening that feels effortless. 6 of us sat around the table, wine glasses catching the glow, stories flowing freely. The talk eventually turned to relationships, and soon everyone was tossing around lighthearted jokes about married life, who snores loudest, who forgets chores, who spends too much time scrolling on their phone. It was all harmless fun. I'd had just enough wine to loosen my tongue. When our friend Clara laughed and said she sometimes wanted to trade her husband for someone who actually listened, I grinned and blurted out, "Maybe we should swap, you can have mine, and I'll take someone who remembers anniversaries." The table laughed, but it wasn't the kind of laughter that comes from real amusement, more the uneasy kind that fills silence. I looked at Daniel, expecting him to smirk or roll his eyes like he always did when I teased him. But he didn't. His face went still, the warmth fading from his expression. Then, quietly, he said, "Maybe you should." The sound of cutlery hitting plates was suddenly deafening. My heart dropped. I tried to laugh it off, to act like it was nothing. "Hey, come on," I said, my voice shaky. I was just joking. But Daniel said nothing. He turned back to his food, and the conversation shifted into awkward small talk. The car ride home was unbearable. No words, no music, just the tires humming against the road and all the things we weren't saying. Usually, Daniel would crack a joke or lighten the tension, but that night, he didn't even look at me. When we got home, I tried to fix it. "Daniel, please," I said softly. "It was just a stupid joke." Everyone was laughing. He looked at me for a long time before answering. "Emma," he said, "people joke about what they really feel. That's something I've learned." Then he brushed past me and went to bed. I lay awake for hours, his words echoing in my head. People joke about what they secretly feel. It gnawed at me. Was there truth in that? Maybe there was. Lately, something between us had changed, not broken, just still. Our conversations shorter, our laughter rarer, our little touches fading. Maybe I'd been using humor to hide from the truth, that we were slowly drifting apart. The next few days were heavy with silence. Daniel wasn't cruel, just distant, going through the motions as if I weren't there. By the 4th night, I couldn't take it anymore. I stood in the doorway of his study and whispered, "Please don't shut me out." It was a stupid thing to say. He finally looked up, his eyes calm but tired. "It's not that you said it," he replied. "It's that it didn't sound like a joke." Those words hit harder than I expected, because he was right. Not that I wanted someone else, but I had been quietly keeping score, focusing on what he forgot instead of what he did right. The next morning, he left early. No kiss, no goodbye, just the sound of the door closing behind him. The house felt emptier than ever. By afternoon, I texted him, "Can we talk tonight?" No reply. That evening, when he came home, he looked exhausted, not angry, just worn out, like someone carrying a weight too long. "Before you say anything," he began, "I've been thinking about what you said that night. About swapping. It made me realize you've been comparing me to someone I'm not for a while now. You used to really see me. Now you only see what I do wrong." I wanted to defend myself, but the words wouldn't come, because he was right. I'd been focusing on what was missing instead of what we still had. He went on, his voice gentle but steady. "You joke about trading me away, but it stopped being funny when I started feeling like you already had, emotionally. That broke me. Tears burned my eyes. I didn't mean it, Daniel. I swear I didn't. He nodded softly. I know you didn't mean the words. But they came from somewhere real. We've both stopped showing up for each other. We sat in silence. The clock ticked loud and merciless. Finally, I whispered, "Do you still love me?" He gave a small, sad smile. I do. But I've also learned to love myself enough to know when something doesn't feel right anymore. That night, I cried alone in the kitchen, a mug of cold tea in my hands. His words echoed in my mind, when something's not right anymore. The following week passed in a blur of distance and routine. We lived under the same roof but felt miles apart. One evening, I caught him staring at our wedding photo, the one where we were laughing, radiant, full of joy. His eyes looked heavy, filled with both nostalgia and surrender. I walked up to him. "Daniel, please. I can't lose you over one mistake." He sighed. "It's not one mistake, Emma. It's everything beneath it, the laughter that feels forced, the distance we keep pretending isn't there." His tone wasn't angry. It was heartbreakingly calm. I reached for his hand, trembling. "Then let's stop pretending," I whispered. "Let's try again. No jokes. No walls." He didn't pull away. His thumb brushed gently against my wrist. "I don't know if we can go back," he said quietly. "But maybe we can go forward." That night, we talked for hours, honestly, painfully, but truthfully. For the first time in months, we faced the loneliness, the small resentments, the things we'd both neglected. Nothing was magically fixed, but there was peace in finally being real again. Over the next few weeks, we began to rebuild, slowly, tenderly. Evening walks. Cooking together. Laughter that didn't mask pain but helped heal it. Each glance, each soft smile felt like a promise that he was still here, still trying. But sometimes, when we're with friends and someone makes a careless joke about marriage, I still feel that same ache. I remember that night, that silence, and the lesson it carried. Daniel's silence taught me something I'll never forget: humor can hide pain, but it can also cut deeper than anger ever could. Words meant to amuse can wound in ways we don't see. Now, when Daniel forgets something or slips up, I don't reach for sarcasm. I reach for his hand instead. Because I've learned that love isn't held together by jokes or teasing, it survives through kindness, understanding, and the courage to speak honestly before silence grows too loud to fix.